This is TechCrunch. Google's AI search features are killing traffic to publishers, so now the company is proposing a possible solution. On Thursday, the tech giant officially launched Offerwall, a new tool that allows publishers to generate revenue beyond the more traffic-dependent options like ads. Offerwall lets publishers give their site's readers a variety of ways to access their content, including through options like micropayments, taking surveys, watching ads, and more. In addition, Google says that publishers can add their own options to the Offerwall, like signing up for newsletters. The new feature is available for free in Google Ad Manager after earlier tests with 1,000 publishers that spanned over a year. Google notes that it's also using AI to determine when to display the Offerwall to each site visitor to increase engagement and revenue. However, publishers can set their own thresholds before the Offerwall is displayed if they prefer. Many of the solutions Offerwall introduces have been tried by publishers before across a range of products and services. Micropayments, for instance, have repeatedly failed to take off. The economics don't tend to work, and there's additional friction in having to pay per article that's not been worth the payoff for readers or publishers alike, given implementation and maintenance costs. A Twitter-like social networking startup called Post, backed by A16Z, most recently tried to make micropayments work for publishers, but it ultimately shut down due to a lack of traction. In Google's case, it's working with a third party, SuperTab, which allows site visitors to pay a small amount to access the online content for a period of time, like 24 hours, a few days, a week, etc. The option, currently in beta, also supports subscription signups and integrates with Google Ad Manager. Google notes that publishers can also configure Offerwall to include their own logo and introductory text, then customize the choices it presents. One option that's enabled by default has visitors watch a short ad to earn access to the publisher's content. This is the only option that has a revenue share, and on that front, it works the same way all ad manager solutions do, Google notes. Another option has visitors click to choose from a set of topics they're interested in, which is then saved and used for ads personalization. Having a more integrated solution could help publishers experiment with different monetization options without having to commit significant time and resources to those tests. Google's announcement didn't share any results of its early tests with publishers or present any successful case studies. However, Google shared one study with TechCrunch saying that India's Sakal Media Group implemented Google Ad Manager's Offerwall feature on esakal.com, which led to a 20% revenue boost and up to 2 million increased impressions within a 3-month period. However, early reports during the testing period said that publishers saw an average revenue lift of 9% after 1 million messages on AdSense for viewing rewarded ads. Google Ad Manager customers saw a 5% to 15% lift when using Offerwall as well. Google also confirmed to TechCrunch via email that publishers with Offerwall saw an average revenue uplift of 9% during its year-plus in testing. Google says publishers can view metrics associated with Offerwall in Google Ads Manager reports. These include things like estimated Offerwall revenue, number of Offerwall messages shown, Offerwall successful engagement, and post-Offerwall page views. The overabundance of attention paid to how people are turning to AI chatbots for emotional support, sometimes even striking up relationships, often leads one to think such behavior is commonplace. A new report by Anthropic, which makes the popular AI chatbot Claude, reveals a different reality. In fact, people rarely seek out companionship from Claude and turn to the bot for emotional support and personal advice only 2.9% of the time. Companionship and roleplay combined comprises less than 0.5% of conversations, the company highlighted in its report. Anthropic says its study sought to unearth insights into the use of AI for effective conversations, which it defines as personal exchanges in which people talk to Claude for coaching, counseling, companionship, role-play, or advice on relationships. Analyzing 4.5 million conversations that users had on the Claude Free and Pro tiers, the company said the vast majority of Claude usage is related to work or productivity, with people mostly using the chatbot for content creation. That said, Anthropic found that people do use Claude more often for interpersonal advice, coaching, and counseling, with users most often asking for advice on improving mental health, personal and professional development, and studying communication and interpersonal skills. However, the company notes that help-seeking conversations can sometimes turn into companionship seeking in cases where the user is facing emotional or personal distress, such as existential dread or loneliness, or when they find it hard to make meaningful connections in their real life. We also notice that in longer conversations, counseling or coaching conversations occasionally morph into companionship, despite that not being the original reason someone reached out, Anthropic wrote, noting that extensive conversations with over 50-plus human messages were not the norm. Anthropic also highlighted other insights, like how Claude itself rarely resists users' requests except when its programming prevents it from broaching safety boundaries, like providing dangerous advice or supporting self-harm. Conversations also tend to become more positive over time when people seek coaching or advice from the bot, the company said. The report is certainly interesting. It does a good job of reminding us yet again of just how much and how often AI tools are being used for purposes beyond work. Still, it's important to remember that AI chatbots across the board are still very much a work in progress. They hallucinate, are known to readily provide wrong information or dangerous advice, and, as Anthropic itself has acknowledged, may even resort to blackmail. That's all for now. For more stories like this one, visit TechCrunch.com.